the cloud. Okay, that's Dalton, nod your head if you can hear me. I'm on my computer. Just nod your head. Okay, cool. Right on. Start the video. Dave, where are you?
I'm here.
Where? Where's here?
Salt Lake.
Oh,
Where are you?
sitting next to you.
What's up? Dalton.
Got the DC. Where's the AC? What we need to do is find an AC out there. So we get out of our AC DC. Man, that'd be perfect. Okay, cool. Let's get into this thing really quick. So, goal today, and then Dave, do you want to just come over to this one so that way you can kind of talk with me through some of this?
Yep.
And then are you gonna, and then you can log in, for instance, on this to get into Commissions Inc. You can just log in on this. It'll work just the same as that one.
Okay.
That way we're just on kind of one thing here. Either that or I can make you share you as a host or something like that. What's your preference? Is this okay?
Let's hit this and then
All right, good.
figure it out from there.
Okay, so first thing that we want to mention when a lead comes in. All right, so this could be, you got to think about this not as Utah Roost leads, but as the future of all the leads that you get in real estate.
Right.
All right, so this isn't really about just Utah Roost. It applies here, but what you learn here, you take with you everywhere, right? And so there was a MIT had done some research that ended up getting published in the Harvard Business Review some years ago now on online lead generation and following up with leads that are coming in and making contact and all of the things that it would take to make this happen. I loved it, right? Because we're basing this off of 15,000 unique leads and 100,000 call attempts, right? So it's not a small sample population, right? This is a big sample population, but the most important thing is the speed to lead, right? That's why it has a name, speed to lead. It's been named. I didn't name that. So in that research, it was said that you have a 400% decrease in the ability to reach a contact after 5 minutes. After 5 minutes.
Right.
That sucks, man.
It does suck.
Yeah, that means basically you got to drop what you're doing and respond to a lead.
Right now.
Right now. Otherwise, your ability to reach that lead falls by 400%.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think 5 minutes is generous. I think it's less than 2 minutes at this point because, you know, society's changed. This report came out before Amazon's Prime delivery came out. And honestly, Prime delivery just made everybody angsty. Like everybody's got to have it right now, yesterday.
You know what I think the problem is? Agents, they get on it and they're on it, and then they get leads that aren't actually leads.
Mhm.
And they're like, well, if half of them are crap, then why should I keep staying on it all day and worrying about it? And then they just let it time lapse because they don't have the urgency anymore.
I guess I could see how
Like, let's talk
people
about
could be
why
programmed
agents
into,
don't call within the first 5 minutes.
I would say number one, if you don't have the right types of notifications set up, you're not going to get a hold of them right away.
Right,
So
that's
if I
cool.
think about, you know, how a lead might come to me through my database, Commissions Inc. or, you know, Command, I would want to have that notification show up as a banner on my phone. Right. So I can go in and into my notification settings on an iPhone and go to that particular program
Yep.
and make sure that the notifications
That's under
are on.
notifications.
That's under notifications, right? So then you make sure the notifications are on,
Mhm.
but you can then also determine how the notifications are going to be, you know, sent. Is it just a banner, or do you want something to make a sound? Do you want it to make a sound?
You probably
They
want
call-
it to make a sound.
They call it a haptic. Yeah, I would want it to make a sound. You know, the same thing was true for me when I was using my Google Calendar. When I started using the actual Google Calendar, is it would make a ding. You know, like you have mail. It would make that kind of a ding.
You know, Ojo has
What?
a train.
A train?
And then whenever I hear that, I'm like sprinting over to my phone.
Yeah, you can actually, in the notification settings, you could choose the haptic or the
Mhm.
sound that you want to show up for a particular notification. So I could make that notification for a Commissions Inc. like a choo-choo train, or I could make like my Google Calendar, like say something like, hey, you know, like I could do all of that kind of stuff and I can make them different for each one of those. But I think the number one reason that people don't follow up is because they don't know that the lead came in. I would say that's the number one reason. All right. The number two reason that people don't follow up is because they're in the middle of doing something else, right? So if you're in a buyer appointment, a listing appointment, you're not going to follow up with the lead. You're just not going to be like, hold on a second. I know you were about to sign the listing, but I have a lead that came in. They might want to buy your house the whole time. It's like, that's not really the deal.
What about like a down market when people are with their agents or with their family out pumpkin patch?
That's a whole different story. So my story is pretty simple. For 18 years, I was the lead, it wasn't 18, it was 16 years. I was the lead 24/7 lead follow-up guy, right? Now imagine being a real estate team selling more than 300 transactions a year. And who was the primary person? This guy. What did that mean?
Just taking every lead.
Monday through Sunday.
Leads.
After hours, everything.
On it.
Yeah. Right. And I was the best at it, which is why we converted it like we did. Right. And so I think, it's not necessarily as much of a balance thing as it is. You just have to recognize that we don't know when the leads are going to come in. You just need to be ready at any given time, especially in the market that we're in.
Right.
I mean, if you're happy, like what your goal this coming year was, 30 what was your goal, Ryan? 22 transactions, dude. If you're in October, 23rd of next year and you're sitting at 22 transactions, I'm going to say you have the option, bro. Right. Like if you don't want to work, you don't really need to. You can take the rest of the year off. Tony DeCello, our coach, had a client that did exactly that, just so you know. They were out of either North Carolina or South Carolina.
First 3 quarters, busted ass. Last quarter took off.
Yeah, literally. And so I don't remember what her name was, but she would stay involved daily in her business. When I say daily, she's like 7 days a week. She's going to do the thing, period. End of story. But as soon as she hit her number, then she would take the rest of the year off. Right now, she had a team that was still doing the stuff, but she personally would take the rest of the year off. Right. Still do her coaching calls with Tony. She had some second property in some Caribbean place, and that's what she would do. So like, I'm serious about that. Like if you hit your goal and you're like, I'm good, be good, dude. Like, congratulations, pat yourself on the back, dude. You did it. Like you hit your goal. I wasn't ever like that. I was like, no, I'm going to build a 7th level business so I can retire. And so until I got to a 7th level, there was no stopping me. You know what I mean? And so it was all the way until I hit the 6th level of real estate business. At the 6th level is when I stopped following up with the leads. Okay. 16 years of lead follow-up, man. I've negotiated offers on Christmas Day from my family's house in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And that's the truth. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. There isn't a day that's sacred. I'm on a mission, 7th level business. Right. But if your mission is like, hey, it's 22 deals and that's that, and I'm good to go. And I'm satisfied for the year. Well, you earned it, bro. Take the time off. Otherwise, we don't take the time off. To me, even when I'm with family, my wife understood completely what my business was. Was she happy about it? No. Was she happy with her lifestyle? Yeah. So all I'm going to say is she tolerated me doing the follow-up. Now, there were definitely times, just so you know, like where I would completely shut it down. All right. There were definitely times where
vacations.
Shut it down. I never did on vacations. I'm not going to tell you guys not to, but I never did.
But if they go, that's when you shut it down for those 2 or 3 days, get somebody to cover your stuff.
Yeah, you can figure out like really where
out and then come back.
Basically, it got to the point, it was so fucking annoying that my coach, I had a life coach. I've had multiple coaches at one time, through most of my real estate career. And I had a life coach and I had a flip phone, and that flip phone, every time the little LED screen would light up, I'd just be like, fuck. Like it was fucking relentless, man. But guess what our business is?
Calling leads quickly.
Contacts, right? And so my life coach understood that I had a problem with it, right? I was just like critical burnout, and I was probably only 10 years into the business at that point. And so I took a piece of tape and took a piece of paper and wrote on the piece of paper opportunity. And then I taped it over the LED screen. So I didn't have any idea who was calling. There was no caller ID anymore. It would just light up the word opportunity. I had to remember that I'm in a lead generation business, and anytime my phone rings, it's opportunity. Okay. So every time that you have a banner that shows up, or certain haptic, like a ring, for sync, for Commissions Inc., or for your KW command, every time that happens, you got to remember that's opportunity, which means you have to drop what you're doing and attend to it, which I have many, many times. All right. So the second The second problem that people are having, so outside of receiving the notifications, outside of being willing to follow up whenever it is that we get, this mindset of, oh, the leads are shit. The
Right.
leads are shit, right?
It's because they are shit, man. They're all shit.
I got good stories about other people's shitty leads. And the best story that I have, some of you guys have heard it, and it was an agent, Kroger Mentor, still an agent to this day. He had a small team, and this was 2008 during the, beginning of the Great Recession. And his buyer's agents on the team said all Kroger's leads were shit. And Kroger came to me, he's like, are you finding that's true? And I'm like, no, I think that they have a mindset issue. And he's like, well, will you show them that you can convert these leads? I said, yeah, bring me the shitty leads, come into my office. I'll make phone calls in front of your people on speakerphone, because we just use regular phones. I just did them all on speakerphone. And that's what we did for like 45 minutes to an hour. I converted their leads to appointments. I had 2 or 3 appointments that came out of one call session from the list of shitty leads that he gave me.
That's like fanatical prospecting.
And so, yeah, so what I think the aha for them was, what's my mindset around this? Because if I think it's shitty, number one, I don't really want to follow up. And, number two, like if I do follow up, I've already got a shitty mindset by the time the other person on the other line answers, right?
So you're telling me that people can hear your emotions on the other line?
Definitely.
Huh.
Yeah, and the universe probably feeds them your emotions before you call, which means there's some dickhead that's about to call me with a shitty ass attitude who thinks I'm scum of the earth,
Which
ain't
is
gonna
why
do anything with my life, and they're not going to pick up.
Which is why realtors have a bad name.
Right.
That's what people assume.
Yes, this is so true.
Right.
It's so true. So you just have to learn how to play the mental games, I think, is really important. But where I find, so having coached literally many of the largest teams in the world, some of the most successful teams, Joe Rothschild was #1 in the world for years. That was my coaching client. Okay. #1 in the world for years, my client. All right. Stephen Cooley, another one of my clients, top 10 in the world, and this is one of my clients. What I found is a couple of things. Number one, agents do not have the ability, no matter what, to follow up with more than 40 leads a month. It just will not fucking happen. All right. 40 leads a month is just anything beyond 40 and you're screwed. And that's leads, incoming leads. Okay. But the problem that we found is this number 2 item here, and that is there's got to be 15 phone calls in the first 90 days, because 80% of sales are going to be made between the 5th and the 12th contact attempt. Yet, I think, let me just switch my screen here. Let me blow this up so you can see this here. Look at this average call attempts, right? So here's the deal. You have literally fewer than 10%, I'm sure the number's less than that actually, of people that will follow up more than 3 times. Less than 10%. The number's less than that, I guarantee it. But that's what they're saying. If you get out to this 5th, 12th contact, 5th contact attempt under number 4, persistence here, at the 5th contact attempt, you have probably less than 5% of people making a 5th contact attempt. That's where, by the way, we're currently running into that problem on the Utah Roost. Like we do the lead audits on there. We can see how many attempts have been made through the system and whether any attempts have been made. And we're realizing we're getting 1 or 2 contact attempts and then just sort of moving on to whatever else. And so the mindset is you live in 2 databases, at least with the Roost, right? Until you're doing your own thing. Every day you're in your command, and every day you're in your Commissions Inc. And Commissions Inc. has a launch pad, and every day you just make sure anything that's in there is cleared. Right. And then in command, you have tasks, that show. That's where I put all my calls, and everything will be in tasks. Every day, I just make sure that's cleared. That's all I do.
Do you think any agents ever called a lead that they ended up buying already?
Yeah. So let me give you an example of what that looks like. And so as I was learning how to screw this up real good, so you guys wouldn't have to, I hired an ISA for the Stern team. The very first ISA I had, what I had them do is I had them go through some of the old leads, 12 to 24 months, because the time frame for people to buy a home was somewhere between 12 and 24 months on average. So I said, let's go to what I'm thinking is going to be the hottest leads first, because these came in 12 to 24 months ago. These guys are going to probably be the most ready, right? We got thousands of these leads, thousands of them, man. And so what we found out, in tracking this, is that more than 30% of the people that our ISA got a hold of, because he couldn't get a hold of all of them, right? But more than 30% of the people you got a hold of, guess what? They had bought a fucking house, you know? And it was like, God, you got to be the first to them. And then you got a relationship on them, right? That's why we have the 8x and 36 touch. Once they turn into a half met, just add them into command as a half met in command, right? Apply the appropriate 8x8, your quarterly call, give them a good tag, stay in touch with them. But you got to be the first to get in touch with them. Like, I can't tell you how many deals I've closed where you were working with them, quote unquote. I got a realtor send
my
me a
guy.
list. Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, you know.
So you mean leads live in other people's databases?
Yes.
Get
Yes.
the fuck out of
Dude,
here.
I mean,
Get out of here.
oh yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
But those are my leads.
Right. So the most important, you know, the second most important thing outside of that speed of lead, making sure that you have your notification set up. And by the way, I wouldn't, why do you guys fucking lock your phone? Can I ask you a question? Before phone locks, were people fucking getting in your phone, stealing your databases?
Stealing my database that I don't call.
Right. Nobody was. I'm like, why do you guys even lock your phone? Like, there's no reason to lock your phone. Right? Just turn it upside down. Who's gonna grab a phone now? Nobody. It's just not gonna happen, dude. So, like, don't lock your phone so you get notifications quicker and you can respond to them quicker. Especially those, you know, Op City leads that are coming through. Are you getting any of those? We have any Op
Dude, we
Cities?
gotta get you on Op City.
Write it down.
Yeah.
Hey, Audrey.
You have an account.
Oh,
Do I need to like connect? to you?
yeah.
Was it with your last brokerage?
We
Cool,
need
we'll work on
to
that.
we need to get Ryan his
We
Op
just-
City moved over to our
Yeah,
platform
there we go.
so we can get your leads. Dalton, you get any Op City leads coming in? Dalton. Oh, Dalton's not on. Is Dalton on Op City? No, because you're not in our
our brokerage.
marketplace. Yeah, that's what the problem is. Okay, that's right.
Tell
All right.
Eden to get you that though.
Hey, Kenna, if I got into Kenna, can you hear me? Kenna, come in. Kenna.
What?
God dang it, girl.
Struggling. You know me and the mute are not friends.
You know the mute button well enough to know that we are. Okay, listen, if I got into Commissions Inc. right now, how many leads do you think that you have sitting in there that we've divvied out to you? Do you know?
Last time I was in there yesterday was like 58 or something.
58. Does that sound about right? 58. How many of them have you contact attempted 12 times?
Oh, all of them. I mean, I'm still in the process of getting some of them to the 12, but I go at least 12 or 13 on all
And
of them.
how many of them have you found it's like 5, 6, 7, 8 contact attempts before somebody like responds back?
Good chunk of them. I mean, I've had a couple people where it's on the very last attempt. They finally pick up.
Okay, so that's going to be important for other people to hear just from experience is like it really is relentless pursuit of follow-up of nobody's going to answer your call until they do. You got to be the last one standing, right? You got to be the first one to get to them and the last man standing or last woman standing.
Philo. First in, last out.
First in, last out.
That's Ryan. He took my spot, dude. I was Philo. And then Ryan showed up.
Nice,
he's fine.
nice. It's always good to not be the biggest fish in the ocean. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Really, just saying, it's good. It's like we want to make bigger fish than us. That's for sure. So that it's just that. Thank you, Kenna, for participating with me on that. It's just for the short-term follow-up and understanding that our program, and we'll show you this in a minute again, but our program inside of Commissions Inc. has an 18-month program, but it also is front-loaded with phone calls and touches through the first 90 days intentionally to hit 15 phone call attempts. There'll be text messages that go out and there'll be email, but 15 phone call attempts. And can I just make a recommendation for you guys? When you're following up with leads that are coming through, go ahead and leave them a voicemail, but just follow up with the text that says, hey, this is Josh with Keller Williams. I just left you a voicemail. No big deal. Just give me a call, or this isn't urgent. Just call me when you get a chance, right? And then I'm always following up based upon their activity. So like one of the things I would do is I would identify off-market property opportunities, like from active no-shows. You can do it now. I would just do it from our own listings and our office listings and be like, hey, by the way, there's a property that came up on 123 Main Street. It's a pre-list property, but I can get priority access to that property. Do you want to see it? It's 350,000, 2-bed, 1-bath. I didn't give them the address, but I gave them some details about the property. All right. And it's an off market. It's a VIP opportunity is what I'm telling them. Right. So I would do that over and over and over again on the buyer side. That shit works too. What do buyers want? They want access to properties that nobody else has access to. Am I right? Yeah, definitely.
Gopher.
So yeah, that's a mofer. I mean, you guys have access to a VIP buyer system, right? And so it's just kind of following up. Hey, here's this, or hey, here's that, right? Just be relentless with them and give them what they want. Right now, if I were you, I'd go to all the buyer leads that I have and say, hey, guess what? I know this sounds crazy, but I can get you a 5 7/8% interest rate fixed for 5 years right now. Yeah.
It's like, I know somebody who said that too.
Yeah, it's 5.785. It's 5 7/8. Yeah, it's on the market stats for this week too.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so if you go below the interest rate section here, right here, check out that FHA arm fixed for 5 years. It's in yellow.
You know, I think another reason agents don't call within the first 10 seconds is they don't want to come off annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me tell you what we ended up doing, and the only person I really got to do this were the people that were on my payroll for the Stern team. You know who taught me this? Ben Kenny.
And Kenny's a beast.
He is a beast. He's just like, I just call him 3 times. And what do you think in your head? You're going to call him 1 time. You don't leave a message. You call him 2 times. You don't leave a message. I'm a dick. I'm now calling a 3rd time. Right. But guess what? A lot of people answer on a 3rd time.
It's very true.
All right.
It's very true.
And when they do, they say, I'm sorry, this is Josh with Keller Williams. I've just been having an issue with my phone today. It's weird. And then you just go on. If you end up leaving a voicemail, you leave a voicemail, but 1, 2, 3 text, email. And if you don't have an email, 1, 2, 3 voicemail, text. Okay. And all of it right in a row. Okay. Now, the cool thing is, like Mike, who now is one of the owners of the Stern team, Mike Walters, when he was on my payroll, I was like, this is what you're going to do. He's like, you didn't have an attitude about it. Why? He's on my fucking payroll. Yeah. It's not a independent contractor thing. It's like, bro, this is what I need you to do. Okay. I got you. Got it. We'll do it. Guess what? It works.
You know why they probably don't do it? Because agents are on agents' payrolls and they don't get paid enough.
Oh my God. They don't get paid enough. You're right. They don't get paid enough. That's hilarious. But I mean, I told you guys about the example of this happening to me. You remember yesterday I told you about Lee, the 3 listings that Lee got from the open house, right? And it started with a referral that came to me. Okay, well, this is how the whole damn thing went down. This is how the damn thing went down. Steve Tobias gave his friend, my contact information. So this guy calls me up, and you know where I'm at? Jazz Fest in New Orleans, right? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Music, right? Dude calls me. Oh, I feel the phone, look at it, I recognize the number, nothing. Calls me back, and I'm like, geez, and it doesn't say spam likely or anything like that, but I have no idea, right? And the 3rd time, I'm like, hello. Hi, is this Josh? Nope. Okay, sorry, I have the wrong number. Hung up. Then Audrey, who's sitting over there, sends me a text message saying, hey, some guy wants to sell his home and he's trying to get in touch with you. And I'm just like, that's the guy. It worked on me. It worked on me. Oh my God. If he would have said, hey, Josh, this is blah, 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 I would have listened. But you know what he said? Is this Josh? Remember what I teach in scripting? You don't ever say, hey, is this
It's not
Dave?
Josh.
No, you just say, I don't care if Melissa answers the phone. Hey, Dave, this is Josh over at Keller. This is not Dave. This is Melissa. Oh, I'm sorry, Melissa. This is Dave. I don't care. Right. But anyway, this is all a true story. That one thing led to, well, in this case for Lee, 3 transactions. Right. Hello, people. The shit, man, I'm telling you, the shit works. The shit works. Just work the shit. All right. Good. So now you got to understand that short-term follow-up. And yeah, there's a mindset behind it. You have to realize, man, it's just a numbers game. I know most people are just not going to answer, and then they're not going to answer, and then they're not going to answer, and then they're not going to answer. And eventually they're going to answer. 5 to 12 contact attempts, 80% increase in sales. All right. The third part of this, we have that baked into our 18-month program, and that is the long-term follow-up. And so your odds of increasing your conversion rates goes up by 67% when you have some sort of strategy that lasts over 6 months. We know that, right? I mean, the average home buyer is going to get on the internet. They're going to be everybody's lead once they start searching around. You end up collecting information in that process. In that process, you're collecting information. They're not ready to do shit right now. That's okay. we have a plan that stays in front of them for what, 18?
I think that's
to
where
24
agents get
months?
lost in the sauce is they don't set the appointment and then they're on a never ending chasing game. They eventually give up because they don't have the tenacity to stick it through.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's monotony, right?
Yeah.
You gotta get like,
It's a lot of dials.
it's a lot of dials
bullshit.
and it's a lot of non-contacts, and that's okay. I mean, you just
know
have
what
to
I-
understand.
You know what
that's the
changed
deal.
my game follow-up game?
Huh.
I started being real on the text that I send to people.
Yeah,
And I'll just say what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Typically I'll say, and I'll speak into my text so I can text quicker.
yeah.
But hey, you haven't answered in a while. Are you mad at me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that
or
works.
hey, you haven't answered in a while. Did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
Question mark,
Yeah,
Or like, hey, should I assume you no longer have interest in selling?
Yeah.
Or we'll send memes like talk to me Goose Swan for what's that movie? Top Gun?
oh, Top Gun, yeah. Talk to me, Goose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll send them something that's
Yeah.
different than what everybody else is sending them, and you'll typically get responses.
So I used to send video responses out, and this was so cool because I realized a lot of people are at their work when they would
Video
have
responses. That's a
when they
great
would
idea.
have the when they would be checking their video. Now apparently nobody works from the office anymore, which is fucking bullshit. Sorry. Yeah, oh, I'm so much more productive at home. Yeah, how's that working, realtors?
Right.
Yeah, you're doing great. You're crushing it. No,
At least
actually,
they have work-life balance now.
oh yeah, they've got balance. It's just not work balance. It's just whatever. They're on a balance beam. I have no idea. Maybe they're over at like Sugar House Park walking on one of those little tight ropes working on their balance. But they don't have balance. They don't have money, dude. You're out fresh out of dough. So yeah, I think that I forgot where sorry, I digressed a little bit, but like you have to what were you just saying, Dave? Bring me back.
We need a podcast, bro.
We need a podcast. This would be a lot more entertaining than the podcast.
Oh, we're talking about agents getting lost in the sauce in the follow-up game.
Yeah, I
And
think,
you would send videos.
yeah, the videos. Thank you. And so it was funny because then I realized, well, a lot of people on their work computer, they don't even have speakers, right? Because these are back in the desktop days, right? So they didn't even have speakers. So what I would do is I would put on a small little framed whiteboard. I'm a real person, and I realized I had to write it all backwards, but I said, I'm a real person. So I would hold this thing that says, I'm a real person that's trying to get a hold of you. Hey, my name is Josh. I'm a real person. You had inquired about this property on 123 Main Street. I just want you to know I'm working really hard to make sure that you know that there's an actual human being that cares about your home buying goals. Yeah. And that shit worked. Right. But I mean, like, why not just do here, let's just do it just for fun, right? Give me a second, guys. You're going to watch me do a video and I'll send it out to you. All right. But it's going to be like, hey, this is Joshua Stern. I've been trying like crazy to get a hold of you. I just want to let you know I'm a real person and I do care about your home buying goals. And that's why I'm trying to reach out to you to learn a little bit more about what's important to you. And also right now, just give you some information about a 5-1 ARM that recently became available to me, where I can get you locked in on a 5-year interest rate for sub 6%. So anyway, trying really hard to get this information out to you. I can easily be reached by a text, email, or phone.
It's good.
Right. So now I could literally take that, because how long did that take? And I could use that. I didn't use Ryan's name. I just assume he's a buyer lead. Right. And so I'm just addressing a buyer lead, letting them know, hey, man, I'm going to, the other one that worked really well too, by the way, and this worked. Hey, Audrey, did this work for you? When you tell people that you're going to reach out to them every single day until they respond, how much quicker do they respond? Usually within a day or two, right? When they find out, oh my God, you're serious. Okay, so Audrey was having a problem where we were trying to get these vendors. She's trying to get more leads coming in for you guys, and these vendors weren't responding to her. And at a couple of meetings ago, I just said, Audrey, email them every single day and tell them you're going to email them every single day until they respond. And she did. She CC'd me on the shit. And guess what? Within a couple of days, all of them had responded. So the other way of doing that is, hey, just so you know, your moving goals are so important to me that every single day until you answer, I'm going to call.
You remember Rob Skeels?
Yeah.
So Rob told us on a morning script call that the harder the lead is to get a hold of, the easier they are to convert. Which doesn't make sense. But if you think about it, if you go extra steps to Google them, look for business numbers, look for other numbers, skip trace them, look them on Facebook,
Smart.
Google
Yes,
them, and you
yes.
finally get a hold of them,
Yeah.
nobody else is calling them or doing
Yeah.
that extra work.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. He brought up some like Googling these people, Facebook. I forgot when I started doing that too, to try to get other contact information for these guys. I would go and send them a friend request with a little DM. Hey, I'm the guy that keeps trying to call you. I mean, I'm literally going to stalk you until you answer your phone. So think about these things, like just different ways of actually having fun with it. And believe me, people will respond to you. But the most important thing is the attempts that you're making. Most people just fall short of the attempts. And then they have this mindset that the leads are shitty leads because they never pick up their phone. And the truth of the matter is, if you wait another year and call them, they'll probably more than 30% of them will have already bought a home. I wish Clayton was here because he knows the exact percentage.
More than
it was.
30%.
Yeah,
So-
more than
so-
30% will have already bought. And that's just the ones that we got a hold of.
Say your goal is 20 next year and you only hit 16. Well, that 30% is in your follow-up game. Right?
Yeah, and well, Diana Kokoska, I mean, this is really important to know because they had Baylor University, they had Keller Williams has its own research center in Baylor, right? So they have all these abilities to do these different types of studies that we benefit from these studies. 84% or 87%, one of those two numbers of all sales occur because of lead follow-up. 87% or 84, it's one of those two, doesn't matter, it's a lot, right? So and doesn't this in a way corroborate it? 80% of sales are made between the 5th and the 12th contact attempt. Isn't that just relentless follow-up?
I'm just thinking back to the deals that I've done that took me 5, 6, 7 years to follow up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
dude.
Just like
The
fully
door
married.
knocking that
You
I
gotta
did.
be married to the game,
The
bro.
door knocking that I did where I had to, and then I put the person in my database, and because I was so systematized, I stayed in touch with them for 15 years. And then they're
Got
like,
like 10 referrals out of them.
no,
Just one deal.
$1.4 million listing 15 years after I started this process of door knocking where I added them to my database. Yeah. 15 years. That's all it took. It's only 4 fucking phone calls a year.
I mean, I love hearing that though.
Everything else is going to be just a system, right? I mailed once a month, but everybody else is easy.
Here's what the biggest issue is agents when they follow up, they call and they say, hey, it's John
Mhm.
with Coldwell Flanker.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if you're ready to sell your house.
Mhm.
And they're gonna say no every time, even if they are ready,
Yeah.
because you're not providing what?
There's no value.
There's no value.
Yeah.
So I created the acronyms VBFU,
Mhm.
value-based follow-up.
Yeah.
Make sure every time you call, that's why the market stats are
Hey,
so important.
Didn't we talk about that too during the market stats this morning of Jay Papasan's 20% article? It's on there. If you guys look at it, right? It's like, value-based follow-up, high value right here, high value. That's where you want to be with follow-up because free and all the other stuff just ain't going to cut the mustard, right? The value-based follow-up, that's why we actually do these absorption reports because you have value-based, you have value to add to them, right? Value-based follow-up, that's why we look at things like our interest rates and our 5/1 ARMs. So we have value-based follow-up, right? You guys are always coming from a place of contribution when you're reaching out to your people. Always, right? I'd be calling my SOI right now and say, hey, you guys, I don't know who's thinking about buying a home right now, but I've got unique access to a 5/1 ARM program, fully freaking legit FHA 5/1 ARM program where the interest rate is fixed for 5 years at 5.875%. That's lower than 6%. So I'm just calling you to spread the good word. Like, who do you know that needs this right now? Value-based follow-up.
Dude, I'm working with a SOI buddy of mine that's buying a property, and Manny's got him into FHA USDA, and they're getting like 17 grand of free money from somewhere. I'm like, where?
Yeah, because
how?
it was CDC, the Community Development
Crazy.
Corporation grants.
So there's all
So-
types of stuff that we need to be
Well,
providing.
Mandy just sent out, this is for you, Dalton. Hey, Dalton, did you see that thing about Davis County that Mandy sent out today?
Last night.
Yeah,
I
last
sent
night.
it
Sorry.
to Dalton.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure. I think
I don't know
Dalton-
if you saw it or not.
No, I think he's offline for a minute, but those are the kinds of value-based follow-ups that that's what our job is to let people know that these things, what did Mandy say yesterday when I was doing the Stern team meeting? Like, So Zillow had done it. I reported this to you guys on the market stats several weeks ago. Zillow released its home buyer report. And what struck me, and I paraphrased some of like the key points that struck me, but 23% of home buyers still think you have to have a 20% down payment.
Yeah.
Holy
misconceptions.
shit.
That's why a lot of people, when they say, no, I'm not ready, even
Yeah.
though they're searching and stuff, it's
Yeah.
because they don't know that they're actually ready. They don't know that they're qualified. They think they have to jump through hoops, or it's a long process, or they heard a friend of a cousin say you need 25% to put down, and they're uneducated.
Yeah.
That's why the VIP buyer system to get them into the office is so important.
Well, and that coupled with like these little nuggets that we cover each week, as long as you've got those little nuggets in your brain, that's super useful to know that right now you are so smart to be thinking about buying right now. Any person that you're going to talk to who's a seller or a buyer, the first words out of your mouth is, you're so smart to be thinking about selling right now, right? Because the entire rest of the world is telling them that they're dumb, they're idiotic, right? Whether we unintentionally listen to that shit. We don't intentionally listen to it, but even you guys are listening to it. I mean, I look at the NAR just released a stat that 77% of real estate agents have an unfavorable view of the real estate market. Did you see that? Yeah, fucking 77% of realtors don't have a favorable view of their own industry right now. I'm like, holy cow. You know what? I bet 90% of real estate agents had an unfavorable view during the Great Recession. You know how many homes I bought during the Great Recession? Oh my God, man. Like, oh my God. And such great deals. You didn't know it at the time, but I was just like, buying real estate. I'm going to buy real estate. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it, and I'm buying it. And by the way, I bought real estate at the previous height of the market in 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. I bought houses every single year all the way through 2014. Every single year for a decade, I bought houses, right? Some of them had lost value, but they all are worth a hell of a lot more now than I paid for them. The long game, it's never a bad time to buy good real estate. Isn't that what Gary Keller tells us? And so that's true. You have to get that into your head. You have to live in that world. You can't live in the same place that all the newsy people are living, because that's not where we are. Our reality is very, very vastly different. Okay. So let's have a look at, so we talked about the long-term follow-up. And so now we look at, hey, what are we doing today? What are the 2 best days of the week to be making contact? Wednesdays and Thursdays. They discovered that too. Look how much better those were than like Monday and Tuesday, right? And then we look at the best times a day to be making contacts. It's right during our call, our
pop-up prospecting,
our huddle call,
right?
And that's what we're doing for most days. And then you get people that are like, oh, it's hard to get a hold of people. Yeah, it is. Like look at what happens after, what is it, 9:30? It just drops precipitously, right?
I still call between 9 and 12 because that's when my will power is on will call.
Good. Yeah.
Right. And
I'm
that's
glad.
when I have the least amount of distractions.
Totally.
And I've trained myself to prospect 9 to 12, 5 days a week, no matter what.
No matter what. And that's what I did. And it worked.
Yeah.
That works. But here's this. Best time of day to be making a call, 3:30 to 5:30. Guess what we're doing today?
Great.
Hey, DC, you coming down for that? Okay, right on, dude.
You know what I've been saying lately? The best time to prospect is
When you'll do it.
when you do it. Just do it.
No, it's
But
like,
it is cool that there is science behind this.
yeah, it is. I love seeing that. That's literally why Dave picked this day and this time for doing a pop-up prospecting. We'll do more of this kind of stuff because one way or the other, we've got to get you guys making as many contacts as possible.
Right.
So now you have a better understanding of like best times to be making contacts. Put that shit in your calendar.
Yeah.
Do it. Like, you know what? If you don't have a listing appointment or a buyer appointment, what should you be doing?
Calling.
Making contacts, right?
My biggest thing was
the only other thing I would say.
Buy-in.
What's that?
Spousal buy-in to that helps.
Getting spousal buy-in. Yeah.
Be like 9 to 12, support me in this, make sure I'm doing it. If I'm not doing it, be like, what the hell are you doing?
Oh yeah, man. My wife definitely held me accountable. Very reluctantly. She hated it. I didn't make my 150 contacts by the end of the week on Friday. Guess what I was doing on Saturday? So what do you think she was asking me on Thursday?
Did you call?
How many, like, are you ahead or where are you at with your contacts? Like, I want to make plans for Saturday. Where are you at? Where are you at? That was her reluctantly holding me accountable. Trying to make plans on Saturday. I'd like to do something with you. Where are you at with your calls? Fuck. I'm behind. All day long. But you know, outside of that, you're working on your database and your presentations. That's it. That's it. All right. So let's look at Dave, let's log into the Bruce. I want them to see the inner workings of our follow-up plans.
You don't
So
want to two-part this?
what's that?
You want to two-part this?
What time is it?
12:50?
It's such a small thing. I'm not doing
I'd like to have the rest of the.
crew here for this.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, never mind. So let's
I think that's enough. Anyway, Dalton, is your mind melting?
I wouldn't say melting. One of my biggest, when a lead comes in, I go, okay, is it an environment I can actually make a phone call in? Like, if it's not, that's one of my concerns. And then I know the answer to this particular next one, but and I'm getting better at it, but just if I don't have my script book in front of me, I kind of panic because I'm like, okay, I don't want to call the lead and F it up because I don't have the scripts ready. But that just requires more practice and confidence, and I'm going that direction where that's less of a concern. Just
good.
feedback.
No, those are great. Like, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because what I would do with those leads, and this happened to me a lot during my, I don't know how many leads I followed up with, tens of thousands of leads, literally, at this point. And that kind of stuff was really quite real for me as well. I remember being at like my daughter's soccer game. It's like, it's loud. I'm gonna attend to the soccer game. But you know what I'd say to the lead that was, that I had just received? I would just send a quick text message. Hey, I just got your request for the blah, 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 whatever it was, right? And I'm just finishing an appointment here. Are you available in 30 minutes? I can just call you directly. I might follow up and say, hey, I've got time to go out and take a look at this property, or hey, I've got an appointment to go out and preview a couple of bank-owned properties. These are all things that I did. I've got an appointment to go out and view bank-owned properties Saturday at 9 a.m. Are you available to join me?
Okay.
Just shoot them a text message is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just do something, and be like, hey, I'm attending to you right now, but I can't call you right now. You can
like that.
Dave's got an add to that.
Some of the best appointments that I've ever set were at happy hour. I don't really drink that much anymore, or go out party or anything. But when we used to go hit the bar after work and I had a lead come in, I would just call him, or I would just answer. And if there's people around me, be like, hey, I'm actually having lunch right now. I apologize. It's a little bit loud in here, but I wanted to make sure to answer your call because this is important to me. You selling your property is important to me. So let me just get a little bit of information right now, and then I'll call you back in an hour. Let's meet tomorrow at 5. But some of the best appointments I've ever set were at restaurants and stuff.
And if you're dressing professionally,
Oh, that's sick. Okay. Yeah, cool.
if you're dressing professionally every day, that video that I was just saying, those videos worked really well for me. Just send over a video, make sure that you look the part, just send over a video. Even if you send the same video out, dress up nicely one day and just get yourself a buyer video or a seller video, right? Something, right? Get it, send the video out. Use that in addition to your responses. Hey, I'm a real person. Your real estate needs are super important. I love the American Dream business and I'm glad to be a part of it. I just so you know, I'm going to continue, trying to get a hold of you until I reach you. Hey, Audrey,
I love it.
how did that work, Audrey?
Good.
What do you mean pretty good?
Does exactly what it needs to.
Okay. You see what I mean? Like, just do the thing that we know works. Just let them know, hey, I'm going to reach out to you until I get a hold of you. Why? You don't say why. You just say, because the dream of home ownership is the most important thing to me. And I just got notified about a sub 6% interest rate that's fixed for 5 years. And I want to make sure you're aware of it. Yeah, it's an easy thing to craft up. Send it via video, send it via text, call up everybody and let them know, holy shit, this is a big deal. Because what are interest rates right now, according to the American public?
20%.
Yeah,
Close. No, they think it's 8%. That's what the news is saying. Yeah, at least 8%, right? So you're sitting there telling them you can get interest rates in the 5s fixed for 5 years. 5 on 5, baby. I can get you, interest rate in the 5s fixed for 5 years. Tasty morsel. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Mandy. Dave, Dalton, did you see the video that Mandy sent out last night? You see that one?
Yeah, Dave sent it up to me. That's that Davis County grant is it'll be right. It'll be great for some folks. The single bachelors, it's a little tough because most of them make a little bit more than that, and so they don't qualify. But for the families, I think that'll be solid.
Yeah, definitely. We just having fun watching Ryan's water fountain. Taking a drink, but the whole thing's just like, you're moist. It's fine. We don't mind. Well, no, we don't care. We'll take you just the way you are. But that also could be a video that you would send out, too. It doesn't matter if it fits them or not. It demonstrates knowledge. Knowledge is the currency we spend to earn our clients' trust. How many times am I going to say it? As many times as it takes. So why do you think people wanted to work with me on the phone, buyers? It wasn't that I was special. It was that I'd use all of these little tidbits of information that my lending partners would give to me. And I spoke just enough lender-nese for people to go, wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, there's 6. Mandy currently has 6 different 100% financing options available to her. 6. And buyers think they need to save up 20%. Well, God, how long is that going to take in this market? Forever. So stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
I bought a half dozen houses with 100% financing. Like, there's nothing risky about it. I still own them today. They're worth a lot of money and cash flow really well. So, all right, cool. What else? Anything on your side? Any ahas? What are you going to do? What are you going to try? You said you're going to try something, Ryan. What are you going to try?
Well, I mean,
Was it the video that got you all excited?
yeah, I think that sounds awesome.
Okay.
That sounds super smart. Just a
Okay.
Video.
All right, good. I think so.
I even think just like going through like all the leads I have and saying send a video.
I think so too, dude. So Ryan's saying, like, I think I just need to go through everything that's in sync and send him a video. Well, sure, we don't need to use BombBomb for it. You sure can, but for God's sakes, you got a phone and it has a recorder and you've got their number and you can just do a blank. Hey, it's Ryan over at Keller Williams. I've been trying like crazy to reach out to you. I'm a real person. I just wanted you to know. And then also I wanted to let you know about a 5-1 arm we just got access to.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm going to keep calling you just so you know until you pick up.
Yeah.
But I wanted you to know I'm a real person and I care about you.
Yeah, I like it.
Like, how fucking hard is that? Dalton, can you do that?
That's like,
I had the same thought as Ryan. Like, why not make that video and just blast my sync leads with it? Because there's 15, 17 of them that I've called numerous times and they don't answer. Right? What a great way to just do something different than anyone else. So
Yeah,
really,
absolutely, man. I mean, just look the real estate part, I mean, like, the cool thing is both of you guys, like, when I see you on video, or in person, like, you actually look like trustworthy people. Like, yes, exactly. Like, like, if you don't look like the snake oil salesman, you don't look like the used car salesman that in a lot of these consumers' minds is who's trying to reach out to them.
It's because it's true. I mean, a lot of agents are so poor at getting in contact with their client, calling them, being responsive, hopping on them, setting the appointments, that when you actually do follow through with what your job is, you separate yourself from the crowd. And they want to work with that. They want to work with somebody that's quick to respond and on it.
Yeah. I got to tell you, so I told you about the sign, and it just said, I'm a real person. It was so funny because the way that I actually learned that from the video side of it, because I just filmed the thing, went into BombBomb back, right? We were one of BombBomb's first clients, literally, and went into BombBomb. It was one client that had responded back to me saying, hey, real person, your sign is backwards.
yeah.
I was like, oh shit. And I remember like looking in the mirror, I was like, yeah, it's backwards. So, but it worked. I mean, it still worked.
It's important to proofread those videos before you send them, right?
No, I think it's important to be human and just send them. Just send. That's the moral of the story is don't try to be perfect. Just be human.
Totally.
All right. Anything else? I mean, it sounds like both of you guys can take one piece of action out of this, right? But then just remember notifications in your phone. Stop blocking your phone. Like, just stop it. notifications. Make sure that those notifications in your general settings, if you're using iPhone, I don't know how to do it if you're using Google, but in general settings, make sure your notification banners are on and make sure a sound comes through from Commissions Inc. and from your command. Make sure that you're allowing sound to come through. So, and I would do the same thing with calendars. So have different sounds, but the notifications, everything else, you shouldn't have a notification banner show up. That's email, no banner, right?
Dude, one more thing.
Yeah.
This is all great, but this doesn't work on weekends. It's Utah.
Yeah.
We take weekends off, Saturday and Sunday.
13 of the 27 homes I sold my first year, I sold from open houses. I did open houses on Saturday and Sunday. I did the same open house on Sunday as I did on Saturday. So yeah, we work. Guess who came in on Sunday?
No.
The people walking to church. Yeah. So I got to know all the neighbors and if they had houses to sell, and it was cool. We just talked. It was, it's brilliant, man. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's in our mind that what I would call limiting beliefs. And they're just false beliefs that we make based upon, inconclusive evidence, basically. They're false beliefs. Many of them are actually bestowed upon us by others, and we're just unaware of it. We're being programmed, and we're not aware of the fact that we're being programmed. How many of you guys have taken the idea of affirmations and put it in your shower?
Yeah, I didn't put it in my shower, but I do it every morning.
Do you? Okay, good.
Here.
Yeah,
It's on my bathroom mirror.
Yeah, good, man. You read them out loud?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Good. Excellent, you guys. Yeah, that was embarrassing for my wife. Yeah, she was embarrassed. And I'm like, well, I'm the only one in the shower. Why do you care? She's not embarrassed anymore. It works. I also have 2 name badges in my truck. I'm going to start wearing both of them. Yeah.
I heard that actually before.
Just because my wife hated the fact that I'd be in a grocery store and I still kept my name badge. She's like, you're off of work. And I'm like, I'm never off of work. I'm not. And you know what I tell her? And this is what my mom told me, actually, but I would just say, I'm not a secret agent.
Oh, you know what it was? I know what it was.
Oh.
An agent said that she puts her name tag on upside down.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Stop her.
I've
and be
heard
like,
of it.
hey, your name tag's upside down. It's so funny you bring that up. I'm a realtor.
Yeah. I've heard that. I didn't ever do that, but I've heard that. That's awesome. All right, guys. Good stuff. Good training. Austin, have a good week.
Thank
Also,
you.
wait, we'll see you. DC, we'll see you here before long.
Way to go.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. I'll see you
Alright,
guys 3:30.
Kenna, come in. Kenna.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, you're coming in later, yeah?